It's tough working with people you don't get along with, but in the NBA, where egos clash, millions are on the line, and everyone wants the spotlight, sometimes teammates straight up hate each other. Let's start with a few of the most explosive NBA teammate beefs, where tension off the court killed chemistry on it. Fire Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen. In 1999, Charles Barkley took a pay cut just so the Houston Rockets could afford to sign six-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen. Barkley hoped it would finally lead to a championship run. But instead of forming a super team, it turned into a super disaster. Pippen didn't see Barkley as an equal. He believed he was the main man thanks to his success with the Bulls. Barkley, on the other hand, thought Pippen came in with an attitude problem, and things quickly got tense. On the court? No chemistry. Off the court? Barkley called him selfish. Pippen fired back, calling Barkley fat and a fake tough guy. After one disappointing playoff run, Pippen forced a trade out of Houston, and the partnership ended with both legends still holding grudges. Brain David Robinson and Dennis Rodman. When Dennis Rodman joined the San Antonio Spurs, people expected rebounding dominance, not chaos. Rodman had just come off a championship run with the Pistons, but his mental health was in a dark place. His new lifestyle, wild parties, tattoos, dyed hair, clashed hard with the Spurs' captain David Robinson, a former Navy man known for discipline and structure. Robinson didn't appreciate Rodman showing up late to practice, skipping communication, and being a distraction. Rodman thought Robinson was too soft. Robinson thought Rodman was out of control. The result? A divided locker room, no real trust, and a failed duo that was destined to implode. Oncoming fist Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis. Now, most teammate beefs are verbal, but in 2017 things got physical fast. During a Chicago Bulls practice, tensions boiled over between Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis. After some shoving and trash talk, Portis threw a vicious punch that fractured Mirotic's face. The injury was so bad, Mirotic missed weeks. And even after Portis apologized, Mirotic refused to accept it. He demanded the team choose between them. Eventually, Mirotic was traded, and that friendship? Dead forever. Some NBA beefs are petty. Others? They define an entire era. Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant were the most dominant duo in the early 2000s, winning 3 straight NBA titles together. But behind the scenes, they were also one of the most toxic teammate pairings in NBA history. Fire the beginning of the end. It all started with promise. Shaq was already an all-star. Kobe was a hungry 18-year-old rookie. At first, Shaq admired the young kid's work ethic and attitude. He even defended Kobe after a rough playoff game in '97 where Bryant airballed multiple shots. But that honeymoon phase didn't last long. By 1998, the media was building Kobe up as the next Jordan. Shaq didn't like that. Kobe? He didn't want to live in Shaq's shadow. The two clashed in pickup games, in practice, and even got into a yelling match that ended with Shaq slapping Kobe across the face. Teammates had to break them up. Trophy winning can't fix everything. Under coach Phil Jackson, the Lakers dominated. Shaq got in the best shape of his life. Kobe blossomed into a superstar. And from 2000 to 2002, they won 3 championships in a row. But success only covered up the cracks. It never repaired them. Shaq still demanded the offense run through him. Kobe believed he was carrying the team. Every title just made their egos bigger. And by the time they won their 3rd ring, the feud was worse than ever. Faced with head bandage, I got hurt on company time. Then came the 2003-04 season. Shaq delayed surgery on his injured toe until training camp was over, famously saying, "I got hurt on company time, so I'll recover on company time." Kobe was furious. He called Shaq out for being lazy and unprofessional. Shaq fired back in interviews, questioning Kobe's leadership. That year, the Lakers had a super team, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Kobe, Shaq, and the pressure was sky high. But instead of working together, Kobe and Shaq were arguing in games, insulting each other in the media, and dragging the whole locker room into their drama. Their chemistry hit rock bottom. They nearly fought again during the 2004 season. The tension spilled into every practice, every timeout, and eventually the NBA Finals. Firecracker, the breakup. In the 2004 Finals, the Lakers fell apart and lost to the Detroit Pistons. The aftermath? Phil Jackson was fired. Shaq was traded to Miami. And the once dominant dynasty was over. To make matters worse, Kobe had also said things about Shaq's personal life during a police investigation, something that made the feud even more personal. For years afterward, Shaq refused to even speak Kobe's name. Their Cold War went on until they finally reconciled on live television in 2009. Collision, but that wasn't Kobe's only beef. Even after Shaq was gone, Kobe's issues with teammates didn't stop. He clashed with Karl Malone after Malone allegedly made inappropriate comments to Kobe's wife, Vanessa. He had a long-standing feud with Smush Parker, calling him the worst teammate he ever had. And then there was Dwight Howard, a matchup made in hell. We've seen what happened when Shaq and Kobe went from teammates to enemies. But the truth is, Kobe didn't just have one beef. He had a reputation, someone who demanded excellence, but often pushed teammates over the edge. And then there's Michael Jordan, the GOAT who believed the only path to greatness was to break you down first. Let's dive into the chaos. Faced with steam from nose Kobe versus Dwight Howard. In 2012, the Lakers pulled off what looked like the biggest heist in years, signing Dwight Howard and forming a new big three: Kobe, Dwight, and Steve Nash. But before the season even started, Kobe had his doubts. He thought Dwight didn't take the game seriously enough. While Kobe was obsessed with winning, Dwight was still doing his goofy locker room antics and cracking jokes. The tension built fast. Kobe called Dwight soft, not just to the media, but to his face during a nationally televised game. Their body language on the court was cold. They avoided each other during timeouts. It wasn't just bad chemistry, it was open warfare in front of millions. Even Steve Nash had problems with Dwight. The Lakers had the talent, but zero unity. The season ended in disaster, and Dwight walked away in free agency, one of the most disappointing stints in Lakers history. Kobe later said that after dealing with Dwight, he had a newfound respect for Shaq. Let that sink in. Fire Kobe versus Smush Parker, Karl Malone, and almost everyone else. But Dwight wasn't the only one who felt Kobe's wrath. Smush Parker, a former Laker guard, once said Kobe wouldn't even talk to him during games. Kobe fired back in interviews, saying Smush didn't even belong in the NBA. Their beef continued long after their careers were over, with both taking shots at each other in the media. Then there was Karl Malone. In 2004, Malone allegedly made suggestive remarks toward Kobe's wife Vanessa. That crossed a line. Kobe confronted him, and from that point on, their relationship was over. Kobe's high standards made him a legend, but also created friction with just about everyone he played with. Brain Michael Jordan and Kwame Brown, mentorship or mental breakdown. Now, let's talk about Michael Jordan, the ultimate competitor. When he drafted Kwame Brown #1 overall in 2001, MJ was both a mentor and a teammate. At first, things seemed fine, but then came training camp. Kwame dared to trash-talk Jordan during a one-on-one scrimmage. That was all MJ needed. Jordan flipped the switch. He humiliated Kwame in front of teammates. He mocked him in the media. He believed that breaking a player down was the only way to build him up. But Kwame? He crumbled. His confidence shattered. And he never really recovered. What was meant to be tough love turned into something many people saw as emotional bullying. Jordan may have wanted to make Kwame stronger, but the plan backfired completely. Oncoming fist when teammate fights go too far. Sometimes, words aren't enough. We've seen NBA teammates straight up throw hands. Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in practice. Vince Carter body slammed Sam Mitchell to the floor. Shaq literally choked out a teammate, Gordon Jirasek, right before a game. Nikola Mirotic ended up with a broken face after Bobby Portis connected with a punch in practice. These aren't just scuffles. These are signs that behind the glitz of NBA fame lies some very real tension, fueled by pride, pressure, and personalities too big to share the spotlight. We've seen superstars punch, trash talk, and humiliate their teammates. But not all NBA beefs are about egos on the court. Some are about betrayal off of it. From friendships ruined by trades to a rookie accidentally ending an engagement, these stories show that in the NBA, loyalty can disappear just as fast as chemistry. Let's wrap this up with the wildest and most personal teammate feuds the league has ever seen. Pouting-faced Jimmy Butler versus Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Jimmy Butler is one of the most intense players in the NBA, a grinder, a leader, and by his own admission, a tough guy to get along with. When Butler joined the young Minnesota Timberwolves in 2017, he had one mission: turn them into winners. But he quickly realized not everyone shared his mindset. He grew frustrated with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, feeling they were soft, lazy, and unwilling to put in the effort required to win. The tension built until Butler exploded, publicly calling them out in practice. In one infamous moment, Butler took the third stringers and destroyed the starters, yelling things like, "You f***ing need me. I run this." The outburst stunned the locker room and the front office. Soon after, Butler demanded a trade and never looked back. To this day, he still takes subtle jabs at them in interviews, and neither Wiggins nor KT seem eager to reunite. Broken heart D'Angelo Russell versus Nick Young, the rookie that snitched. In 2016, D'Angelo Russell was just a 20-year-old rookie for the Los Angeles Lakers. He looked up to Nick "Swaggy" P. Young, the veteran guard known for his flashy game and off-court swagger. But then came a moment that changed everything. Russell thought it would be funny to record a private conversation where Young casually admitted to cheating on his fiancée, pop star Iggy Azalea. The problem? That video got leaked. And just like that, all hell broke loose. Young's engagement ended. The locker room turned ice cold. Teammates stopped talking to Russell, treating him like a traitor for violating the unspoken code of brotherhood. The situation got so toxic, the Lakers had to move on from both players, but Russell's reputation took a major hit, all because of a prank that crossed a very real line. Direct hit Ray Allen versus Rajon Rondo, brotherhood broken in Boston. Back in 2008, the Boston Celtics were kings of the NBA. Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo formed a legendary squad that won it all. But as Rondo developed into an all-star, tensions started rising. Ray was once the second option on offense. Now he was being reduced to just a spot-up shooter, while Rondo dominated the ball. Ray didn't like Rondo's attitude. Rondo didn't like Ray's tone. Their chemistry deteriorated, but things hit rock bottom when Ray Allen left the Celtics to join the Miami Heat in 2012, their biggest rival at the time. That move was seen as the ultimate betrayal. Garnett, Pierce, and especially Rondo cut off all contact. They didn't speak to Ray for years, and he wasn't even invited to the Celtics' 10-year championship reunion. What started as a championship bond ended in silence. Exploding head bonus. Rafer Alston versus Jalen Rose. Petty to the max. Rafer Alston, aka Skip to My Lou, had a solid season with the Raptors in 2003. But one teammate drove him insane, Jalen Rose. According to Alston, Jalen was selfish, only played defense if he got enough touches, and cared more about stats than wins. In one game against Charlotte, Rafer said he was so fed up that he just refused to pass him the ball the entire game. Years later, Alston vented about it in an interview. Shockingly, Rose responded, "Skip was absolutely right. I was just trying to get one last contract." At least he owned up to it. Firecracker final thoughts. The NBA is often seen as brotherhood, a family of elite athletes chasing the same goal. But behind closed doors, it's a battlefield of egos, pressure, personal issues, and sometimes straight-up hate. Whether it's a punch in practice, a leaked video, or just pure ego clashing with ego, these stories remind us that even the best teams can fall apart from the inside. Because when teammates hate each other, winning becomes impossible.